All right. I almost didn't do it, but I'm doing it. Another market observe analysis. And you know what? Let's put on some focus music. Yeah. I think I'm good with this. All right, so I'm gonna try to do an hour, but I ain't gonna lie, brother. I was dozing off before I even started, so we're gonna start and we're gonna get right into it. And I'm gonna start off by actually showing a recent observation that I did, and the main question that we need to be able to answer is it a good time to trade? Is it a good time to trade? Are we ready to collect our product? I'm going to set up my station here, as we do every single time. We'll start the clock here, like so. We're going to be keeping a close eye on the way this number moves, which is the position, and this number moves in conjunction, which is the price. Okay. And we have a couple of products that came close, but they just didn't quite make the cut. So this one's going to require us to kind of stay on task. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we have the timer on, and got my timer right here. Oops. So we'll be mindful of that so that we're cutting back to this when we need to. And what we'll also do is go ahead and put the positions where they need to be for the buyers. Oh, this is the seller. Oh, yeah. So anyway, we're going to make the position for the sellers one right in the middle of that strike, right in the middle of the zone, right here. That's the middle of the zone. And right on the strike. That's the buyer. That's the seller's position. Buyer's position is just a little bit smaller, okay, because it's right above the strike, 1 micropip away. We'll change the color of that, and that's our buy and our sell. Buy position, sell position. Okay. All right, so I'd like to show you guys a few recent studies, and we're going to kind of get an idea of what was going through my head on each of those studies, given the fact that what we're looking at right here, the fact that we have this market in 2 different positions, or excuse me, in 2 different zones, and straddling 2 different positions. And you can kind of see that like as clear as day. We have it in the red and the green. That tells me enough that I don't need to even really care about that one. I don't even really care what happens with it at all. All right, so let's look at these here, and let's just do run a thorough analysis on, should I have taken it? Was it a good time to trade? So let's take a look here. Oops, not that. Let's take a look here. All right, so I'm looking at this position here. Okay. And here, let's get rid of this. Let's get this out of the way just for now. All right, so we have look at that price movement or that position kind of sticking there, and then look at that price movement. Okay, mid eights, high eights, mid eights, high eights, low nines, mid eights, kind of floating in that area. And what I'm waiting for is a confirmation. So I need a confirmation to 6. Now, one of the things I'm also noticing is that this price, you see what that price just did? Blanked out on me. Now, is this a good time to trade? And I have to say yes. There was something in there that caused some hesitation with the pricing disappearing as the confirmation came in. But the reason why I say that this is a good time to trade is because the positioning was all in the buy the entire time. But the thing that made me hesitate personally was the fact that the market, when it confirmed, when it went from 5 to 6, the pricing disappeared. And in my experience, that's sometimes that's indicative of a glitch. Now, this is another one. It's actually one binary later. And is this the right time to trade? So we're under that minute mark. We're well within the window. But what's missing here is that while we're in the position, we haven't gotten a confirmation yet. That's what we're waiting for. The pricing disappears again. And that's more of a nuance. Sometimes that nuance is indicative of some type of instability that could be flirting in the market. And then in addition to that, failure to confirm, the market's position is going towards the strike. Another thing that you'll notice is there's this line here. I put this line here because I noticed that the market would come back down to about this line and test it and go back and do it again right here, and then right here, and then right here. So that tells me that there's a barrier there. But what I was wanting to see was that barrier being validated with the market confirming its position by moving away from the barrier, and then the pricing also showing us a reason to enter. Now, looking at this one here, I'm looking at that low point, and I'm looking at the way this price moves, and looking at the way that this position changes. Okay, position is moving up, but the price moved down, so there's this divergence, meaning that the market's not moving together. And then when the market moves down, the price moves up. So that's throwing me off. The market's not moving lockstep together. Yeah, the market's not moving lockstep together. So it's a pretty easy pass for me. And it shows that it ain't the right time. Moving on to the next one. Moving on. Okay, so we have another example here. Okay, the market's position looks good. The market's pricing looks good too. We see that the market hasn't really touched that line. Mid eights, high mid nines. Like, okay, that's a little iffy. We got the confirmation at 104. And then, I mean, one could have maybe taken that position right before the minute mark at 104, but you'll notice in my videos, I'll usually wait as late as I can. And I usually like to see that confirmation movement is met with some form of pricing. But whenever I see the market pricing disappear like you see right here, that makes me hesitant. I don't really like to mess with those. Doesn't mean that it's not a good time to trade. The best time for this one would have been around that 1:05 mark. We're moving on up here real fast. I'm going to pause that video here and just see where we're at in the live market. And you can already tell that just looking at this, we're right in this seller's position. Seller's position, lowest point is 690. That's a seller's position. Seller's position. Okay, so if we're starting off the observation, we're starting it off right here when the binary started. This is when the binary started, and the binary started in the buyer's position. 691 is the buyer's position. Moved further into the buy. Let's take a look at it. So it's the market's position is in the buyer's and seller's position. It's moving further into the buy. Pricing is showing that it favors the buy. But still, this right here, these two, these three, these tell me that the market's position is straddling. So is it the right time to buy, or is it the right time to trade for this one? I would say no, because the market is showing me that it's in two different positions at the same time, leaving the possibility that I can land in either one. It just so happened to stay in the buy side this time. All right, let's go back to our original video that we were studying. Doing something weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Oh man, it's messing up on me. No big deal. I'll just exit it and reopen it. This one here. Is that it? I thought I named this thing, right? Okay, whatever. Okay, we are right in the middle. We had just looked at that one. All right, let's take a look at this one. All right, so is it the right time to trade here? So at least all the way from back here, we see the market is in the buyer's position. Okay, right now it's moving further into the buy. We got that mid-8. Okay, looking good. Okay, move down to the 7s. Move toward the strike. Another move toward the strike, but still in the buyer's position. Another move toward the strike, still in the buyer's position. Not confirming, it's threatening. And so, is this the right time to trade? No, because the market's threatening the position that it's in. It's been in that position for a minute, but the pricing, you see how it's stair-stepping down, and the position, how it's now in the seller's position. Now it's in the buyer's, but now it's in the seller's position. It's a lot of back and forth going on. So that tells me that the market's not ready to offer up a product yet. And if I would have taken that buy, let's see if it brings it back. Okay, it's bringing it back. It's like, do you want a big amount of money on a trade like that? You know, that would do to your stress levels. Nah, brother, I ain't trying to mess with that. So with this one, I'm just gonna kind of cut to the chase. So, oh dang, let's cut to the chase with this one. We have the market in two different positions. This one is in the buyers and sellers, buyers and sellers, and then in addition to that, we don't have that pricing respecting the threshold. So, you know. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. Okay, so is this the right time to trade? Well, we don't have any pricing, number one. No pricing. You know, we like to see, when we're looking to sell something, we like to see it at around 2. Well, I actually saw it flash at 2, but when it's at 2, I like to see it incrementally move downward. It flashed 2, and then it came right back down. So there's a little bit of like sporadicness in the pricing. I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't remember making this thing that big. Now you see that that price is moving up in the last few seconds. That's indicative of what's happening right now. It can still stay under, but do you want your money riding on something like this? That's the question. Like, do you want your money riding on something like that? No. That's not a product that I would want to demonstrate for other people to take and try to interpret for themselves. So I would have to leave that one alone. Okay, so we were right at the end of this one. It maintained its position. These are close. Let's see what would have been the right time. Okay, so we're at 1 minute and 9 seconds. 1 minute 8. So between 1 minute and 7 and 1 minute and 6, you see how that position went from 7.3 to 7.2? It's going the wrong direction. It came right back. But it's not confirming. It never confirmed. All right. And then this one's real easy to see. This one you come in and we see a sudden jump from this sell. On the sell, we got $1.40 jumping up to $5. This is disqualified instantly. So I stopped the video there, and that's that. Okay, so yeah, this one ain't nothing. Okay, so we're moving up into the buyer's position. Okay. So we moved up into the buyer's position. We're still in the buyer's position, but we've actually just barely nipped the seller's position right here, the very bottom of the seller's position. And we've got another minute before we enter the window of opportunity, or I should say window of consideration. Okay, let's take a look at the positioning range. We're looking at the lowest point. So we're at 5 here, 8 here. It's kind of high in the position, which makes sense as it relates to the pricing, but we'll still take a look at it. Mid-high 8s, low 9s. I'm usually looking for like a kind of a low 8 moving up to a mid 8, moving up to a low 9, but looks like this is going to be, this might be slightly out of our, just slightly out of our range. Let's see if it at least confirms itself. Okay, it goes from 715 to 716. See if it at least does that much. Okay, the pricing disappears. I don't like that. And then no confirmation. If you don't get a confirmation by 30 seconds remaining, then you just leave it. Oh, there's the confirmation. Came late. I like the way that it's behaving. I just needed to get a little bit more in line. Almost there. Not quite, but almost. Almost there. Big movement. We're heading to another position. Okay, we'll move this over here. I don't really want to move these buyer and seller positions just yet because the market just had this big burst of movement. And I don't know if it's going to establish itself in this zone. So before, I'd like to see for it to come back and retouch or retest something, because it could come from this big burst of movement, come back and kind of settle in, or maybe the big movement isn't done yet. So that's what I'm interested in seeing for this binary. Is this big movement just a one-time position switch, or is it a transition to another place or another behavior? I can't tell from just one candle, so I'd like to see a little bit more. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time for it to let me know what the market's trying to do. There's a little bit of settling going on right now. Okay, so it looks like it's trying to come back, but like I said, we still got time. We still got time. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it looks like a little bit of settling in. Let me go ahead and turn the computer, or let me turn the recorder on. Let's see if we see that $2 range. Let's see, 4, 7, 5. Very close. Little bit, teeny tiny bit out of the range, just a teeny tiny bit. I like to see that 2 and then have it move down from the 2. See if we'll at least get confirmation from 05 to 04. The pricing is out of our range, so the likelihood of us getting filled on this is slim to none. But just want to see if it confirms. Price disappears. No confirmation. No confirmation. There's the confirmation. A late one again. Like I really do like the behavior though. I like the behavior. And then another jump. So this and this. It's almost like they're just mirrors of one another. So let it figure itself out. Just kind of keep it focused on that. All right, let's see. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. See how it settles. Once the window opens, we still got plenty of time. This one's high in the position, in the high in the buy, I guess you could say. But let's take a look. See how it looks at a minute and a half. Might be out of our range. Okay. Six, 5, 6. See if we have a confirmation. A little high. There's the confirmation. Just don't have the pricing. We're close. We're getting there. We're close. We're getting there, guys. We are getting close to the right time. The behavior's looking right. We just need it to just to line up properly. So this one was close. Almost had everything we needed. We're getting close. Everything was in the buy position, as you guys can see. It just the timing of the opportunity was out of sync. Timing of the opportunity was out of sync. Let's look at it again. What do I mean by timing was out of sync? All right, so we're in position. We're in the buy position, okay? Like I was saying, I need this to be in the low 8s, okay? And then move up to the mid 8s, and then the high 8s, and then the low 9s. It starts in the high 9s. And the opportunity window, that's too high. It's out of my range. Let's see when it gets out of range. Because I said the timing. So right, even at a minute and a half, like if I wanted to take an entry into this, which I could have, okay, it would have had to been a lot earlier than, towards that last minute mark. I typically, and I intentionally stick to a certain timing in order for the demonstrations to be kind of, what do you call it? Easier to duplicate. Like it's a very strict approach that I take. But this is the right time. It's just that the opportunity window that I use would not allow me to take advantage of it because the pricing with the amount of time left was high and out of my range. That's why this one got left alone. It was close. That's close. The fact that we had 6, 5, and 6 as the frequent touch points, that was basically the barrier. That's good too. So, almost. Almost. This one's kind of out altogether because it's straddling the buy and the sell. So this one's not really much to look at, but we'll keep an eye on it. See how the pricing behaves. Okay, so we already know there's no established position. The position is straddling two zones. I do like the way that the price is moving. And then it suddenly jumps from 19 to 0. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's see if it gives us a confirmation. You see how it's bouncing around this price? Going from high teens to 0. There's a confirmation move. It just didn't have that. It didn't have that incrementality. Telling y'all, we're close. All right, let's see how we do in this sell position. Moving on. Okay, moving into another position then, obviously. Straddling again. Now we're in 3 different positions. Nope. Now we're just moving around trying to figure out what we want to do. No pricing, no opportunity in this window. Got about 3 binaries left. Time actually flew. We might be getting further away from that right timing. Yeah, we might just be getting away from it. You see, in this binary alone, this is 1, 2 zones. So it looks like it's finding where it needs to go. Let's see. Let's see. We'll give it some time. Yeah, we're still straddling. Right on the strike. Nope. All right. That's okay. Okay. All right, so where are we? position hasn't been established yet. That's number one. Okay. 14, 15, 19, 18, 6, 2, 13. Oh, okay, see? No. Nope. The pricing is too sporadic. All right, we got one more. I think I'm gonna call it one more, and unless it looks great. $29, $26, $30. Okay. Let's see, 31, 31. Okay. Let's see how this one turns out. The only thing that I notice here is I see this, but let's see how it turns. Let's see how this thing works itself out. We still got another minute before the window opens up, but we have 31 and 31. And what I'm interested to see is if this respects that 31 or if it touches 30. If it touches 30, then this binary is over with in terms of considering it for any type of opportunity. But we're still kind of early. So let's see. Let's give it a chance to show us what it wants to do. Because it is just right in that buy position. Just right in there. But the pricing has my attention. Okay. Some up and down with the pricing a little bit. I'll start it. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I don't think we're going to come back to anything that would make any sense for me to really look at. We had some close ones this week, the ones that we reviewed in the earlier part of the video. Kind of broke down my reasoning on why I chose not to engage in those. But in terms of the market right now, I'm not seeing progression towards anything worthwhile. So I'm gonna call it a night. Yeah.